Okay. Jace didn't laugh. Most shadow hunters get their first marks at 12. It must have been in your blood. Maybe, although I doubt most shadow hunters get a tattoo of Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on their left shoulder. Jace looked baffled. You wanted a turtle on your shoulder? I wanted to cover my chicken pox scar. She pulled the strap of the tank top aside slightly, showing the star-shaped white mark at the top of her shoulder. See? He looked away. It's getting late, he said. We should go back downstairs. Clary pulled her strap back up awkwardly as if he had wanted to see her stupid scars. The next words tumbled out of her mouth without any volition on her part. Have you and Isabel ever dated? Now he did look at her. The moonlight leached the color out of her eyes. They were more silver than gold now. Isabel, he said blankly. I thought. Now she felt even more awkward. Simon was wondering. Maybe he should ask her. I'm not sure he wants to, Clary said. Anyway, never mind. It's none of my business, she smiled unnervingly. The answer is no. I mean, there may have been a time when one or the other of us have considered it, but she's almost a sister to me. It would never be strange. You mean Isabel, and you never, said Jace. She hates me, observed Clary. No, she doesn't, she said, to her surprise. You just make her nervous, because she's always been the only girl in a crowd of adoring boys, and now she isn't anymore. But she's so beautiful. So are you, said Jace, and very different from how she is. And she can't help but notice that. She always wanted to be this small and delicate, you know. She hates being taller than most boys. Clary said nothing to this, because she had nothing to say. Beautiful. He called her beautiful. No one had ever called her that before, except her mother, which didn't count. Mothers were required to think you were beautiful. She stared at him. We should probably go downstairs, he said again. She was sure she was making him uncomfortable with the staring, but she didn't want to be able to stop. All right, she said finally. To her relief, her voice sounded normal. It was a further relief to look away from him as she turned around. Moon, directed overhead now, lit everything nearby to the daylight brightness. In between one step and another, she saw a white spark struck off something on the floor. It was the knife Jace had been using to cut apples, lying on its side. She jerked hastily to avoid stepping on it, and her shoulder bumped his. He put a hand out to steady her, just as she turned to apologize. Then he was somehow in the circle of his arm, and he was kissing her. It was at first as if she hadn't want to kiss her. His mouth was hard on hers, unyielding, and she put both arms around her and pulled her against him. His lips softened. She could feel the rapid beat of his heart, taste the sweetness of the apples still on his mouth. She wound her hands into his hair as if she'd wanted to do this since the first time she'd see him. His hair curled around her fingers, silky and fine. Her heart was hammering.
No!
What the hell?
I'm trying to hear that.
What the Wait, Cameron, you gotta say the thing. Cameron reads books.
Cameron reads books. A special.